you think? Good. Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, January 13, 2020. Headed into work for the day. And I didn't do any vlog yesterday because I was like in rough shape. And so, generally speaking, I felt okay. But what was happening was that I think I had food poisoning from Saturday. Nikki and I ordered some pizza from to be delivered on Saturday night. And after I ate it, I was like super like bloated and completely full. And like to the point where I wasn't able to eat anything all the way. Well, I haven't eaten anything since that pizza. Let's put it that way, just fluids. And excuse me. Very, very weird. Like I don't know what caused that. I don't know if it was the pizza or something like from the day before. But it's either a stomach flu or like food poisoning type symptoms, to the point where I was going to the bathroom like every 5-10 minutes. So the only other thing I could think it would be was my stomach was destroyed from all the stress this weekend. So, whew, yeah. So I don't remember where I last updated you guys, but on Saturday. So on Friday, Sophie had another one of those seizures where she like fell over, and it was when we were trying to let her out to go potty, and she didn't make it all the way outside, so she pissed all over the rug, and it was just kind of bad, you know. So excuse me. So Saturday morning, ended up taking her into the new vet and explained everything to him and all that, and he wanted to kind of see what was going on. So he did 2 x-rays of like her chest area and diagnosed her with congestive heart failure. So she has an enlarged heart with fluid around her heart. Sophie had also been like doing like this cough, hack, choke, gag thing. And he could see in the x-ray that it looks like she probably has like fluid in her lungs or something along those lines. So also on like Friday, when she had that episode, that was the worst one yet. Like it almost seemed like she stopped breathing, and that was terrible, you know, like what the hell. So I brought her in, and while we were there on Saturday, he gave her a rescue dose of this drug that is supposed to pull fluid out of her body, I guess. So, with the hopes that it'll pull that fluid out of her lungs and maybe try to pull that fluid from around her heart or minimize it or whatever. So she was peeing on Saturday every like 5 to 10 minutes for hours. And I probably let her out like 30 times or whatever. So no more accidents or anything like that though. So but what the doctor said was, he's like, well, it might not be seizures. He's like, you know, does she come back, you know, is she back in action like relatively quickly? I'm like, yeah, it's only like maybe 5 seconds. And he's like, and he's like, well, does she twitch around or anything like when she's going through it? And I'm like, no, not really. She just kind of like locks up, freezes, and just falls over, and then comes back in like a few seconds or whatever. He's like, well, he's like, I'm wondering if it's not seizures that she's having, if it's actually she's blacking out. And he's like, you know, with this condition she has, she might not be getting enough blood to her head, like, because I told him it only happens typically when she's like super excited. So he's like, well, she might not be getting enough blood to her head or whatever when that happens, because her heart's pumping so hard or whatever, and she's essentially blacking out or falling over. I'm like, well, that kind of makes sense, because she doesn't twitch when she falls over or whatever. She just kind of like statues and then falls over, and then like 3 seconds later comes back. He's like, eh. So he gave her 3 meds, 3 pills. 2 she'll be on twice a day and 1 once a day. I believe the once a day pill is the one that pulls the liquid out of her. So that'll be, I don't know the names of them, but so she's also on one for her heart murmur, and then another one for her blood pressure, so to lower her blood pressure just a little bit, so she her heart won't be pumping as hard to get that through. So that's kind of what's going on with Sophie. It was definitely scary seeing her like that Friday night. I had never seen her do that before. Like I said, it was like she stopped breathing, and I'm like, oh god, here we go. I did bring that printer home over the weekend, and I did print some stuff, a bunch of stuff, but I'm still having issues with larger, longer prints separating from the bed, and I'm wondering if some of those I should not print a raft or something. I'm not sure. I did leave it at home. I'm not feeling like bringing it all the way back to work in my condition and packing it up. I did get a little bit of stuff done around the house in between all the potty breaks, so I got all the laundry done and put away. I also received, I don't know what day, maybe Friday or Saturday, but I received the brushless motor and controller for the weapon for Munchkin Bot. So I kind of mocked that up last night and just powered it up, and it seems to work pretty well, so that's cool. So I'll be using the drive motors are on channel 1 and 2, and those will be joystick driven with one stick, and then the other stick will be the weapon motor will be on channel 3 and run on like the throttle on the remote control. So it seems to be pretty good. You know, that bill on Saturday from Sophie was like $400, and I'm like, how is it that like I bought like that printer, and then I get a different bill that's conveniently like the exact same price? Like I don't understand that. That happens all the fucking time. This is how I keep getting back into debt, because I'll buy something with extra money, and then I'll get another bill on top of it, and I'm like, why? Every time, like I can never catch a break. So I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. I get Grant back today. I gotta try to find a way to explain all of this to him about Sophie and what was going on and all that stuff. And if we get a chance, we're gonna maybe try to run to Home Depot and pick up, I don't know, maybe either, if they don't have bolts long enough, try to find threaded rod or something that we can get the weapon system up and running. I placed an order for like M8 by 180 millimeter bolts on Amazon like 2 weeks ago, and it just says order received. It was a really cheap price, and I don't know what they're doing, but they might have put the order in like through China, and it's just, that's all I get, but I don't know. I found a ton of cool firearm related stuff on Thingiverse. So everything, I actually found a quad loader. I'm really excited about that. Everything from quad loaders to shot shell carriers to, I found a Tech Lock alternative. Tech Lock are like the clips that hold all of my shit to my gun belts, and that stuff can be kind of expensive if you have to buy it outright. I also found some Glock stuff, and I don't know what else, but I'm kind of excited. You know, if I can print a couple of those quad loader things, that'll knock a huge chunk off the price of the printer. Those quad loaders are like $85 a piece online. And I don't know what else I found, but I was like, holy crap, if I print a bunch of this stuff, even with the cost of PLA, it's going to save, you know, the printer's going to pay for itself, let's put it that way. So yeah, that's it. That's kind of the whole weekend. So yesterday, Nikki left early, like 11 or 12 or something. And I basically just kind of, my stomach stuff kind of started kicking in after she left. Like, I don't know. I didn't sleep very well Saturday night because of it. Last night I did sleep through the night. I don't think I had to get up once to go to the bathroom. So, watching more BattleBots, Season 3, that's on the Science Channel's website. I'm almost to the finale, or the final. Tombstone actually lost. I can't remember the name of the bot that beat him, but pretty badass. And Bronco lost. So massive upsets. And apparently massive traffic. So I gotta go. Alright, just like that, I'm getting out of work for the day. And it's a little bit early. It's about 10 to 4, earlier than normal. I went today over my lunch break and got the oil changed on my Sonata Hybrid. And it's amazing. I go to this place called Delta Sonic. It's just like a gas station. That's the same place that I have my monthly pass for unlimited car washes. And it's, like I said, it's a full service gas station. So they have like an oil change bays where they do other services and stuff. That was the same place I took my Audi, and they evacuated the air conditioning system of the refrigerant gas. So I went in there over my lunch break, and I was back to work by 12:30, and I left at 12. So it's pretty incredible. It's a couple stoplights down, but what's interesting is they're like, yeah, you're gonna need a passenger cabin air filter. Like, yeah, I know. All right, go ahead. So my oil change was $25. And the filter was $35, and I'm like, So, lesson learned. That's something I should have probably changed myself. I'm kind of happy. So I spent probably 2 hours today going through and backing up all of my video camera footage, unloading it off of the video camera, off of my Kodak video camera, and even off of my cell phone. I did a full backup of my cell phone. Well, like mostly full backup. All the important directories I backed up, photos and all the other stuff. And I even generated a few slideshows using a program that I found for my vlog days that I didn't have footage. So I think it was like 110 or that didn't have footage, or actually was it yesterday? I think yesterday didn't have footage. And a couple days in December didn't have footage either. So yeah, so I was like, oh, that'll be kind of a nice little tool to add to the arsenal. I was doing slideshows using Sony Vegas with like a template, and it was fucking horrible because like it just wasn't easy to do. So I actually got a slideshow program. It generates files and outputs it, whatever, as a video. I didn't, mock up or render any daily vlogs, so I have, like a month to do. So at some point I'm gonna work on that. But I at least got all the footage backed up. When I get home, I'm gonna plug my external hard drive into my NAS, so that way it's double backed up. So, I came across one of my friends on Facebook mentioned, he mentions that he dabbles here and there using 3D printing and stuff, but he mentions a program called Tinkercad about 3 weeks ago. And I've been meaning to look it up and check into it and stuff. So last week I looked it up at least, and it's a service by the company that does AutoCAD. It's called Tinkercad, and I think it's just a website service. So it's called tinkercad.com. And you can literally do 3D modeling through their web interface for free, and then it saves all of your designs and stuff to the cloud in their infrastructure, all through a website. Very, very, very intuitive. It's very similarly set up to the MakerBot software. The MakerBot software, typically you have to have the files ready, but you can load them into let's say for instance the STL 3D model files, but you can load them into MakerBot software and kind of orient them, scale them, do some basic stuff. But Tinkercad works very, very similar. It has a very intuitive user interface, and it makes me happy. You literally just use basic shapes that they give you. You can stretch, pull, slide them, whatever, and then you can say like, okay, well, that was cool. Now give me the same shape as a hole. And then it does like adding or subtracting. So you can use a hole shape and set it on top of your solid shape, and then click group them or merge them or whatever. And if it's a hole, then it literally cuts a hole into your existing solid. It's fucking titties. So what I did to kind of just test it out, and you can actually load STL files right into this interface and then edit those if you already have them. So I'm like, hey, let me check out this Munchkin bot stuff. So the side plates on the Munchkin bot had the letters CI like kind of embedded into the files, and it also had, it was a generic bracket to use on both sides of the robot. So it had an extra hole on the side that didn't have that motor in there. So I was like, you know, the other side would be cool if it didn't have that extra hole. Like, it doesn't really need to be there. So I'm like, let me see if I can remove that. And then, so sure enough, I loaded up the file and it had the holes, like, you know, in the existing file. I pulled out a cylinder, which is kind of like a 3D hole or circle, and I placed it inside of the hole on my solid object, and then I shrunk it down so it was the same height as my solid object, grouped it, and so it was there was already a hole in the file, so I added a solid hole or cylinder to fill in, and when I grouped it, then it made it one solid thing without that hole. And like I mentioned before, you can do the opposite. So if you had a solid part, you can add a hole by selecting the hole option for shapes. But anyway, so yeah, so I was able to remove the hole from it, and then I'm like, well, fuck, I wonder if I could just like quickly remove those letters that were like imprinted into the design, the CI or whatever. So I took like a box, because it's just like a C and an I next to each other. I took a square and placed it over it, sized it the same height or thickness, and then clicked the join or merge option or whatever. And sure enough, it erased the letters that were in the part. I'm like, this is fucking awesome, cool. So I went through and I made a left and right bracket. I on the bottom of the model were the letters CI, so I did remove those. And then on the top lid, the lid that covers up the hole in the top of the body, was like it said Munchkin, so that was where it got the name Munchkin Bot. So I was able to remove that. So I'm like, this is awesome. So Tinkercad even has like, so it has all the basic shapes, like, you know, cones and cylinder and square, and but then there's even stuff like there's letters, so you can type letters, it turns them into 3D, and then you can drag them and move them just the same and add or subtract them from your parts. It's fucking amazing. So I'm like, okay, well, all right, this is pretty damn nice. I kind of like this. This is cool. So I didn't do any like custom letters or anything like that. I will ask Grant if he wants to rename his bot to something else. And what I'll do is I'm going to show him that we got the weapon motor. We got the weapon motor over the weekend, so I'm going to show him that. And then later tonight we're going to have to run out to Walmart to pick up groceries, but maybe on the way to Walmart we'll stop at Home Depot and see if we can find something to piece together, part together the weapon bar or whatever. So we shall see. So I'm just excited to learn new things. You know, I took it really easy today at work because, I mean, I was not in good shape yesterday, and I was able to eat lunch, so that was nice. I ate my normal lunch, and my stomach seemed to be okay. It wasn't freaking out or anything like that. And then what else? I did get some work done this afternoon. I just had a couple meetings and stuff like that, so I'm getting a lot of requests from all the other teams and stuff, and it's just like, I really need to focus on this project and all my new duties that are going to be coming along, and I'm just like freaking out a little bit. So I don't know. But Nikki's in a meeting until 4:30, so I'm probably gonna give Lukey Doodles a call and see how the hell he's doing. And that's it. That's all I got to report. So pretty productive day, just in terms of personal stuff. I do need to edit this part. This is the extruder fan shroud or whatever. So I didn't even think about trying to pull that up in that software, but I guess I could do that. See if I can sort it out properly. I guess what I need to do is measure the actual one and compare it to this part, and then just edit this part. I do have a micrometer. I bought one last week just for that use, so cool. And even in Tinkercad, when you're sizing stuff, like as you drag it or whatever, it shows you the size right on there. So you can, and if you can't like drag it to match perfectly, you can just click on it and type in the size, and it shrinks it or grows it to whatever you need. Awesome. So kind of excited about that. So that's it. I need to give Lukey Doodles a call and see how he's doing. Stay tuned for more.